moving on with me. I have for next mine, and I regret so much so, taboo tattoo. Like, I know when we did our initial thoughts of this, I was all like hyped for it because it's interesting.
Yeah.
The
Yes, it
concept
was.
of it behind it is very interesting. The action scenes are pretty cool. Don't get me wrong. I like them. There's just so much wrong with everything else, though. Like, the pacing is just so bad. Even with the fights, I thought, like, they're building up this fight. We're having, great time, and then it just ends, and we're like, why did it just end? How did we go from like a struggle to like, oh, we're done?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, y'all just decide to just give up? I mean, what happened? Where was this? What were we doing about this? Basically, I'm like, and just and don't get me wrong, I'm all about making fun of myself. Though I enjoy that. I'm making fun of stereotypes and everything, but the stereotype they had for the American general. Oh my God!
Can we just put up? Can we just give a little warning? Because I want to get into detail about this because I felt the same way you did. So we were just going to go ahead and say that there will be spoilers about this one because there's a lot of things I want to say.
We're doing you a favor on that one.
Yeah.
We really are. I mean, I think they could have done such a better job than what they did with this, and it had such good potential, and they just threw it all away.
Yeah.
I couldn't even follow from one end to the other, honestly. But go ahead.
No, because I will say leading up to like the half season battle, and so what would throw me off is that apparently it was way more serious than they were leading us on to be, because they would have so many goofy moments. The princess was perverted and she would do perverted stuff every time they introduced her. Mm-hmm. So and then the main characters were just goofy with each other and then all of that. And even in the middle of probably the first big fight, like they're cracking all of these jokes and like people are getting cut in half, their heads are getting chopped off, and then they're like, oh, ha ha ha, you made a poop joke. But then they die. They'd get shot. The Colonel Sanders, he started off the fight with, "We're gonna put, I'm gonna shove a hot dog on a bun up their ass." That was his battle cry going into this fight.
He was fixated with people's asses. I'm gonna say that right.
And putting things in there.
He wanted to shove I don't know how many things up people's butt.
Yeah.
I was just like, can you stop, please? I'm tired of hearing about it. I don't even want to visualize that. Yeah. Yes, I know it'll be painful. Let's move on.
It's like, that's not how you win a war. That's not how you win a fight. That's not how you win anything. But
I mean, oh God.
It just threw me off because like it was this important fight and the main characters died and like the effects of this fight, or there were effects of this fight that pushed on for the rest of the story. But then you get to the final fight of the story and it feels like it's just kind of like, that's it. The main or the
I think they copped out on the final fight. To be honest with you,
they really did.
That was a huge cop out because they're just like, you know what? I don't know what to do with this. Let's just make them all giant monsters and battle it out with each other. Go for it.
Exactly. The first fight, people died. The main characters died, and they died in a brutal way. And they give you a glimpse of how powerful the princess is and how powerful her bodyguards are. Mm-hmm. So you're just like, all right, so they got a hell of a fight going on. And then the final fight, you take these half-developed characters that are all injured. They don't match the powers of the original crew that they had, and then all of a sudden they win. You go against a team that's more powerful than they were a year ago, and then all of a sudden you magically just are able to beat them. So it feels like they started off so strong and then had no idea what to do next. So they put a time skip, and then they make you believe that in a year they're powerful. And
I think what the problem is, and again, I think this goes back to pacing.
Yeah.
The pacing was so fast.
Yeah.
And I think if they actually stopped and showed more of these like developments. Now, I'm not talking about, let's not do DBZ now. Let's not just like go all out and be like, we're going to say 30 episodes till he reaches this power point. And you're like, really? We went that far just for that? Are you serious?
Yeah.
No, I mean, give us like an ep, maybe 2, and be like, okay, this is what's happening. This is how he's developing. He's figuring these things out. He's learning how to use his powers.
Yeah.
But you just like, you go from he's weak and crying in a corner because his girlfriend essentially died. You're like, and then all of a sudden he's Mr. Superman, and you're like, wait, where did we get this? Who went from what, where, and how, and why?
I mean, they could have done like a 1980s training montage, you know, like the Rocky thing where he's like in the snow carrying the, you know, they could have done something, but instead it's like it's a flashback episode, and then you come back to the next episode and it's a year later, and he believes that he's strong. Yeah,
like everything up to that point. Even it's like I was like I kept having to go back every time I watch a new episode and be like, wait, how did the last one end?
Yeah.
Why are we here now?
Yeah.
And eventually I just stopped. I'm like, all right, this is just going to be our reality. This is how we're going to do it. Yeah. Apparently we're not focusing on what ended on one episode and what began on the other. We're just like, nope, this is where we're at now. This is where we're at now. This is where we're at now.
Yeah.
And like you said too, it's like we had this like joking like thing going on with the princess. I mean, they were kind of like, they had this little thing going with each other. You're like, oh, hey, this is kind of lighthearted, whatever, you know, little banner. Hey, yeah, I'm better than you, whatever.
Yeah.
But it was never something like you thought serious. And then it was like a switch flipped. And you're like, now she's all of a sudden super serious and wants to kill you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Where did that come from?
They had that one, I guess, in the last couple of episodes, because I was all in until episode 11. And then I realized, like, oh, they just royally screwed this. They had no idea what they were writing, because, you know, they do that, the time skip happens, and then she does that little video where they're like teasing them to get him to come out, and she's being all joking and lighthearted. It's like, you can't joke and lighthearted. Like, you kill the dude's girlfriend, you killed half of the army, you crippled the general, one of the main characters doesn't have an arm now. It's like, you do all of this stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, you stabbed my waifu pillow, and we're jokes and laughter again.
Yeah.
And then even on the last fight, like the dude, you can tell the dude is clearly outmatched, and then all of a sudden he's like, Super Saiyan.
And was it just me, or did the character that they introduced in like the last 2 or 3 episodes, we did that little backstory with him, how he was gonna get married, and I'm like, why was that a thing that we had to go through?
Yeah.
Why was that important? You're trying to make us care about a person who we've only just met.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen.
Weird.
See, and
very odd. And looking at it, I'm like, are they trying to appeal to maybe somebody like me? Where I'm like, oh yay, this was, I don't know, it was odd.
See, because they had so many characters that they could have picked from, and it's like they never picked the tone, they never picked what characters they wanted to keep, I guess they never really wanted to pick what they wanted to happen, so they just had a whole bunch of stuff, or a whole bunch of actions happen, and then they're just kind of like, oh, we'll pick whichever one affects you the most, and that's the story that you go with. So, and I wanted to defend it, and I wanted to like it, and for the most part, I liked it until the ending, and then it's just like none of it makes sense.
It's just, I think they needed to lengthen it out more. They needed to add more into it, because they kept skipping around so damn much. Yeah. It was hard to follow. And I think they just needed to have a set goal in mind and stick with it. You know, figure out what type of anime you want to be and just do it. Don't be jumping around like that all the time, because it makes it hard for your viewers to get anywhere near connected with it. Yeah. And like you said, it had a good premise. Yeah. I was all behind that. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. We got tattoos that like do all sorts of things. I'm like, these are powers. I'm like, this is cool. She can blow stuff up with like air, and this person can like fire, and I'm like, this is cool. And, and him with the void, but I don't think they knew what to do with it.
I think if you want to see a better version of the show, I would recommend watching Darker Than Black. I think it's kind of like a similar premise, and it's done a lot better. The story is a lot better, the characters are a lot better, and it's not it's not ridiculous, overpowered nonsense. Like it's you get a little bit of that 91 days where they have to like plan something out and they have to take into consideration who they're fighting, and everybody's kind of on equal ground. Yeah. And it takes in the concept of the tattoos, where everybody has like a special power according to the power that the power that they take in, I guess, the tattoo that they have. So you get a better story, you get better characters, and it just makes more sense.
Yeah. Again, it reminds me. A big letdown.
Yeah, it reminds me of how X-Men 3 was, where you're just like, oh, this looks pretty cool, and then they just introduce a bunch of mutants that people are gonna like, and then it just kind of goes everywhere, and then for some reason people are fighting, and Wolverine's there, and then it ends with like a big scream and a boom, and then that's it.
And you're like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
I'm lost. I'm confused.
And like, why does Iceman suck so much? Like he's not. Yeah.
So, anyways. I don't even want to. I'm done with it. I don't want to do anything about it. It's just they needed to go away. So
bottom line, don't watch it.
Yeah, basically, it's just it's a waste of time. It really was. Big D, what you got next?
Well,
you want to say anything about it? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was like, I'm still at the good part. So.
Okay. Well, let me save you some time.
Yeah.
You can move on to other ones. Trust me. It'll be better.
Like we ruined his meal. He's all like, "Oh, this chicken looks good." And like, everything sucks.
Chicken looks good, and then you start biting into it, and you realize it's all rotten on the inside. You're like, "Oh."
Yeah, I'm still like 4 or 5 episodes in. Where what was it? Somebody was like a bunch of people were getting attacked in this one apartment, and like the one girl had to like go like crazy over to try to save her, and then the other dude ended up being there before, and like there's a helicopter and stuff, and I'm like, this is awesome.
I think honestly it's about right then that they really just screw everything up after that, because then it's like the pacing just goes all over the place.
Yeah, so I guess I won't be finishing that
one. Watch Food Wars instead.
Yeah, definitely. Anyways, like anyone else that come into that kitchen and try to do that, he'd have failed him and just tell them to get lost, get out of here. Even if they had come up with that exact same dish, he still would have told them to get lost, get out of here. But it's the fact that it's him and they see that potential inside him. They're like, all right, let me show you how I would have done that. And it's like, I feel for that. I'm like, that's cool. I like that. I appreciate that.
It was very calculated. It was very smart. And I really appreciated that.
Yeah. You can tell they really took their time to think about how the story is going to play out. And it wasn't just kind of put together, and things weren't forgotten throughout the story. Everything happened for a reason. And it was really good. It really had me excited about the next episode, because I really didn't know what would happen.